you keep asking yourself, right? Why do I hold myself back? Why do I play small when I know I want to grow big? Well, in her book, The Mountain is You, Brianna Wiest reveals the truth. It's not fear, it's not laziness, and it's definitely not weakness. It's self-sabotage. And here's the thing. Once you learn to face it, you don't just climb the mountain, you become it. You're watching Wisdom in Minutes, where we break down the world's best self-help books into bite-sized lessons. Hit that subscribe button, and let's climb together. This question, man, this is the one that sits at the heart of so many of our struggles, isn't it? It feels so personal because it is. But the good news is there's a real answer, and we are going to unpack it together right now. Okay, so let's get right into it. The book's whole idea is built around this amazing metaphor that the biggest, toughest, most intimidating challenges we face in life, they aren't out there. Nope, they're inside of us. So what is this mountain, really? Well, it's self-sabotage. It's that baffling, frustrating behavior where you say you want to save money, but then you find yourself stress shopping online. Or you say you want a healthy, loving relationship, but you keep pushing the good people away. It's this internal tug of war between the part of you that wants to soar and the part that's terrified to leave the nest. But see, to conquer this mountain, we first have to understand why it's even there. Why in the world do we actively work against our own best interests? The answer? Well, it might just surprise you. And here it is. This is the big aha moment of the book. We beat ourselves up, right? We call our behavior laziness or a total lack of willpower. But the book argues it's none of those things. Self-sabotage? It's actually a sign of unmet needs. It's unprocessed emotions bubbling up to the surface. It's not a character flaw. It's a giant flashing signal that something inside of you needs to heal. Just think about what this really means for a second. Your struggle isn't a battle of discipline you keep losing. It's actually an invitation to finally address a deeper emotional wound. This one idea changes everything. It shifts the whole approach from beating yourself up to actually showing yourself some compassion. So, how do we start healing? Well, we begin the climb. And that starts with learning to face the things that trigger our self-sabotaging behavior in the first place. We have got to stop thinking of our emotions as these enemies we have to crush or ignore. That anxiety you feel, it's a messenger. It might be trying to tell you, hey, you're tying your entire sense of self-worth to this one outcome, and that's not healthy. The moment you stop trying to numb your feelings and start listening to them, that's when you start building real emotional intelligence. And these messengers, these emotions, they often show up as what feel like invisible chains, keeping us tied to the base of our mountain. There's the fear of failure, which keeps us from even starting the climb. There's guilt from the past, convincing us we don't even deserve to reach the top. There's the trap of the comfort zone, which feels safe but is actually a cage. And then there are those old, outdated inner stories we tell ourselves about who we are. Now, let's zoom in on guilt for a second, because this one is a big one. We tend to carry it around like this heavy backpack, thinking it's a permanent stain on us. But this book offers this incredibly powerful reframe. What if guilt isn't a life sentence? What if it's just raw material you can use to build something new? And here's how that works in real life. Instead of letting guilt paralyze you, you can reframe it as responsibility. You ask yourself, okay, what did I learn from that? And all of a sudden, a past failure isn't a mark of shame anymore. It becomes the solid ground you're standing on, the very foundation giving you the wisdom and strength to climb higher this time. The same exact thing is true for our comfort zones. You know, we avoid that difficult conversation, or we say yes when we really mean no, just because it feels easier in the moment. But real growth, it only ever happens when we step into that discomfort. The first time feels awful, for sure, but each time you do it, you're not just surviving it, you're literally training your resilience muscles. This brings us to one of the most powerful tools we have for this climb, learning to become the author of our own story, instead of just being a character in it. Oh man, does this one sound familiar? I'm the kind of person who never follows through. We all have these stories we tell ourselves. We look at our past, the half-finished projects, the abandoned gym memberships, and we collect them like proof that this is just who we are. But here is the amazing, liberating truth. That story isn't a fact. It's just a narrative. And you have the power to pick up the pen and write a brand new one, starting today. So how do you actually do it? Well, you start with a new script. Instead of I'm a quitter, try I am someone who is learning to finish. Look, it might feel like a total lie at first. That's okay. But then you start gathering evidence. You keep one tiny promise to yourself, then another. Finish one chapter. Complete one workout. Each tiny action is a new sentence in your new story, until eventually that new story becomes your actual identity.
And this is what it's all been leading to. This is the summit. It's the ultimate goal of the entire journey, not just to conquer the obstacle in front of you, but to be completely transformed by it.
The book's whole framework can be broken down into 3 simple, powerful steps. First, you name the mountain. You get brutally honest about your specific pattern of self-sabotage. Second, you climb the mountain. You do the hard work of facing the fears and healing the wounds. And finally, the best part, you become the mountain. You let that struggle transform you, integrating its lessons into the very core of who you are. And this is the beautiful paradox of this whole journey. The very things you thought broke you, the failures, the heartbreaks, the rejections, they don't just disappear. Instead, they get repurposed. The loneliness teaches you true independence. The failure sharpens your wisdom. They become the bedrock of your new strength. And this is the ultimate transformation. You are no longer the person who was afraid of the mountain. You are the mountain. Solid, resilient, unshakable. A force of nature shaped by the very journey you endured. So this is the question the book leaves us with. It's a call to action, to look at your greatest struggle not as something to be defeated, but as the very thing that is going to forge you into the person you were always meant to be. So please, remember this. The obstacle in your path is the path. The mountain isn't some unfortunate barrier to your life. It is the curriculum for your life. It's here to shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more whole than you ever thought possible. If you're ready to grow stronger every single day, make sure you subscribe to Wisdom in Minutes. And to help you on your own climb, I've put together a free Reader's Guide PDF for The Mountain Is You to help you go even deeper on these lessons. That link is waiting for you in the description below. Thanks so much for watching.